You talked about human-centered workforce systems, not just the actual check this, do that, type this. You talked about a human-centered workforce system. What does that actually look like in your mind in a day-to-day in a way that, workforce boards operate?
Human-centered design is really also a philosophy, Melanie, right? It's one of those key mindsets that we surfaced around, how is it that we need to behave different to be more modern in our approach as a workforce system. And quite simply, when we say human-centered design, we mean a workforce system that designs its programs, policies, and products with people at the center. And that sounds pretty obvious and easy, but I think that is something we often lose sight of in the workforce system, right? We fixate on, a person is only a job seeker. A person is only an incumbent worker. A person is only a dislocate. A person is only an apprenticeship.
Right.
And I think, Melanie, what I see working best is when workforce systems really take that human-centered mindset and apply that to how they think about, all the people they're serving. Employers are people too, right? I often say that. We often talk about it as employers as this monolithic thing, but they're really just people too that the workforce system should be trying to better understand and figure out how to meet them where they are. I think, Melanie, on a very practical, what does it look like day to day, for the person who's coming to rely on that system, is that it feels less about proving that you deserve help and really more about a partnership on how to solve this problem together. That problem may be help me sign, yes, many people, affiliate the workforce system as just that place I get unemployment insurance. Okay, if that's the first problem that person has, let's solve that first, and then understand what's next. Is it an issue of childcare? It is an issue of you haven't been to school in 30 years and it's a scary thing to do. How do we work with you on that? So I think, those are some of the more kind of mindset things. And I will also say, I think I sometimes get frustrated when I hear the workforce system, constantly talk about how we serve the community. That service is great. Don't get me wrong. Service is great, but I think, this switch and how we can become more community centered, how it's not always outreach, but it's really also about welcoming in and bringing more people to that table to say, how do we solve these problems? How do we build solutions together? Again, I think lack of that kind of behavior and that kind of way of engaging the community is where and why workforce boards get that reputation of being out of touch. And we can definitely do better.
Okay. I like how you frame that, because it's not, you talked about from the minute they walk in the door earlier, right, to that human center not being just a slogan. It's how does this whole system actually function?